Hi, Eduardo. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Now I can hear you.
Ah, okay. All right.
Let me turn myself up too. Okay.
All right.
There we go. How's it going?
Pretty well. How about, did you receive everything I sent to you?
The yes, the is it phonetic alphabet?
The phonetic, yeah, the phonetic alphabet, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I responded back and said thank you, but if I didn't, I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem, no problem, Victoria.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I typed a whole thing to you. Gosh,
Yeah, no
darn.
problem, no problem.
I've been having that problem today. I'm like, I could have sworn I sent that to somebody, and I go back and I'm like, no.
No,
I even remember
no
typing the
problem.
email to you. That's so funny.
No problem.
But thank you for doing that. I appreciate it.
No problem.
How you holding up over there?
I'm holding up okay.
Hey,
If it is.
all we can do.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited about this training.
Yeah.
I'm excited we get to do some kind of drill.
Yep.
Very nice. Are you going to be?
I got it right here.
What's that? The drill? Is that the document?
LAH document.
Oh, you know what? I probably should pull that up. It's probably a good idea, huh?
CERT documentation release 0.1.1.1. Neil Catton, November 10, 2020.
All right, let me find that. That is, let's see here.
Hi, Larry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi there. How are you, Sam?
Fine. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. Yeah, the way it is.
Long time no see.
Absolutely, but that's the way it is. We can have coffee or tea, whatever you want at Pete's.
I haven't gone there in almost 9 months.
I know, I realize that. I haven't either. Oh, God.
Hi, Larry.
Good evening. By a wiggle out of the way for the other half.
Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Hi, Larry and Janice. Hi, Sam.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. Been busy.
Sorry,
but...
I missed you Sunday.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Well, we're going to be out there again this weekend, too, if you want to come by.
Yes, I need a badge holder.
Yeah, I will definitely. Or I can always bring it to you, too. I'm going to be out there, so whatever you're comfortable with, I can drop it off at your house when we're done.
That would be fine, but I don't want to waste your time.
Oh, no, I don't mind at all.
She's too generous.
It's kind of nice seeing everybody's houses. I love seeing Larry and Janice's. She's got some really cool art stuff. I was pretty impressed.
Not me, it's him.
Really? You think Larry? I think Larry did all those shell beautiful things that you had in your front. That was Larry.
What? Which one? What are you talking about?
The one you made with shells that's in your front, right as you're looking at your door.
Oh, yeah.
That beautiful shell thing.
Yeah, she's the shell creator. Yeah.
I thought so.
I
It had your name written all over it.
I just watched.
You just, yeah. Did you hold the shells while she blew them on?
I didn't even go that far. I just said, hey, that's nice. I know better.
Right? Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to tonight and learning how to talk on those ham radios. I'm really excited about that.
Yep.
I'm excited to learn how to turn it on too. That's what.
That helps as usual.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Yes. I
Are we gonna practice with ham radio tonight?
No, I think we're gonna go over the ARC procedures
Okay.
tonight, and then
Okay.
we're gonna do. I think Neil's gonna do a little show and tell at the ARC when we get our radios.
Okay.
Hopefully that's still in the works.
Okay.
All right, let me make.
I spoke to Dave, and he said no one RSVP'd for a radio. So maybe that's out of date, but as of now, no one signed up for Saturday.
Why don't we? We'll push it out tonight too. I can personally email.
Unless you or Larry have a list of folks who said they needed it.
We do. I think Dave has it actually. I'll get that from him today. I think it was Amita. I remember Amita being on there.
I found when I sent out the notice about the potential of a drill tonight, that out of 15 people, I only heard back from 5. So I'm not sure we have really figured out a good way to reach these people. I can't really picture them not answering, but they aren't answering. And so my bet is that either they don't look at their email every day, or they've got other things happening. Would it make sense maybe to text them just to see if the texting works?
The question is, I don't want to text everyone. So how do we get to the people who need to know it?
I would
Maybe we can
start
make
by
a text
checking, and we
group.
probably ought to find out among all our people. Well, we can figure out who the hams are, and the only people we try to reach are the non-hams. So we could probably reduce the list by just simply cross-checking against the hams that are already have not only the radio, but the license.
Well, I'm focusing for this week on people who've signed up for the Festival of Lights parade. That's really the driving thing. And I guess for the next Wednesday activation drill, but they can do the activation drill with just text messaging.
Sure. How many people have signed up for the Festival of Lights activity?
It's on the order of 5.
Okay.
Is that
And
including
they're all,
you?
I'm sorry?
Is that including you?
Yes.
Okay.
And everyone was a ham, so.
Oh, okay.
I still haven't, Neil, I still haven't heard back from Drew about the people that she's connecting with on her end.
It was just from Los Altos Hills, it was just Peter and myself.
Evans. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we'll put you in the ham category then.
No,
I-
you're hitting the
Easy.
search category.
The 11.
I think, as I said in the sign up, I'll do whatever they need. And they just have to figure out what they need. Luckily, that's Dave's headache. So
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'm not going to worry about it then.
That's true.
Thanks, Dave. So I made you a co-host, Neil. You should be ready to go. Does anyone else need to be made a host, Dave, or just you, Neil?
Dave, I don't think you're presenting, are you?
Wasn't planning on it. Can you guys
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just got off a Zoom meeting. Everything was working, and I got onto this one, and I can't hear anybody, but I can now.
Oh, good. Good. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I'm good. I'm in.
Yeah, you're in.
I'm going to mute myself now.
So I'm looking to see how to share a whole screen, and I'm not seeing it. So there's only Windows, I guess.
That's Ben Hu.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Okay. Is the slide showing up for folks?
No.
No,
Let's try it again. How about now?
Yep.
That's good.
So is there any pre-talking we want to do, Victoria, before I dive in?
I don't think so. I think everyone on here kind of knows what we've got going on. Let's see if more people join, and then maybe at the end we can ask them about again.
Okay, and I turned off my video just to optimize upstream bandwidth, but when the presentation's done, I'm happy to turn it back on. So I suspect most of the people in this meeting already know all this, but I'm happy to fly through it, and the slides, we can put them online and people can look at it later if other people need to tune in. So what this is we've had a first hour document for about 2 or 3 years now. We revised it about 6 months ago based on some feedback from a tabletop exercise. The whole goal was to make it easier to follow. And so this presentation is kind of an introduction to that. It's been put out for review, and I think it went to supervisors in ECC, which is everyone in this meeting should have seen it, but we'll see. I'm going to go through this fairly fast. If anyone has a question, just say something or raise your hand, and I'll do my best to call it out. So why do we have a first hour document? It's basically to script things, so we don't have to make it up on the fly. We have pre-thought the issues, got things approved, and like all checklists, it gives you a way to not forget things. It also makes it easier for less expert people to play the game. So in theory, they will have that document they can walk through, and they'll be 80% as good as someone who's expert in it. That's at least the goal. It's on the website like everything else. It's on the procedures and documents page. And when I say hamburger menu, what I mean is this menu up here. I don't know if people can see that. This is what's called a responsive website. And so if I make the font smaller or make the window wider, you can see how the menu comes up. But if with a bigger font, the menu's not shown, and then you can click that and show it. That's also what happens if you're on a mobile on your phone. You'll need to click the hamburger menu. And so that's how you can get to procedures. And then it's the Los Altos Hills CERT actions after an earthquake, which is this link right here. And this is what the document will look like, and I'll get back to the document later. So the document's basically organized by role, kind of in chronological order. So net control is first, IC is second, S&S monitor is third, and so on and so forth. It's basically in the kind of order that people will get picked, where you have to find things, where the very first thing you need is someone to do mic reports, and then all the other roles as you move forward. If you don't have a role, you're an individual, and there's a separate chapter for that. And you can just go to that thing, and that's short enough and sweet enough that hopefully it's understandable. And if it's not understandable, let me know, and we can figure out how to make it more understandable. It's organized and uses the same publishing system as the CERT position guide, which I believe everyone has seen, and we do periodic walkthroughs on. It covers the key steps as based on CERT activation in the town emergency plan. It starts out with doing mic reports. If the mic reports show enough damage was visible, then we move on to the next step. The IC makes a call whether to activate or not. Then you go through yakking to the town to make sure they know we're doing stuff. A few pre-scripted actions like starting checking critical infrastructure, and then spinning up the ARC and the EOC is the last thing in the script. This script stops once you've handed off control to the ARC and the EOC. So that's basically the job of this, is just to get up and running. starting with people remote and then getting people physically at the ARC and the EOC. Some little things that aren't obvious. There's this the latest icon, which I'll show you over here. This icon down here, if you click on it, it pops up, and this is how you can get a PDF copy of the document or an EPUB, which is basically a mobile format. It's supported on both Android and iOS, and that's how you can put a copy on your phone or tablet to have with you all the time. And that way, you don't need to be online to get to it. You can also look at the source code and go, that's the easy way to suggest changes. Might not be, it's assumes, a fair amount about software publishing and source control, so it may not be the most accessible. On the other side, it gives you a really good history of what's changed and when. So, and then back to the document. So this is the table of contents that you get to right at the start if you click on this. There's a very first introduction that covers the things I just talked about with the latest, and go to the individuals if you have any questions. And then it goes through some background for the town, what net control does, what the incident commander does, what the liaison to the resource net does, the SMS monitor, individuals, and then an overview of the mic or damage assessment process. And that's basically it. It's about, I don't know, I haven't printed it lately, but 20 pages worth of stuff in a not very dense format. I wasn't going to do a whole lot of talking through all the individual steps. That's probably better done if people have taken a look at it, but I will talk about the individuals. You should expect to hear a request for mic reports once a net control has stepped forward. Mic is basically a way of giving a objective based on damage you can see or experience level of report. So it's trying to get us out of the, wow, that was a big earthquake, into a way of actually comparing what damage there is. The scale is in, I think it's chapter 8 now. And it's here as a reminder. It's basically 5 and below is, you could feel it, but not much happened. Maybe a couple of things fell off the shelves, but not much. And then 6 or more is heavy stuff moved, things fell over, buildings damaged in some extent. And we're really, our system looks for 6 or more or 5 or less. Going back, so this is how you can collect mic reports, either by text or by ham radio. It says if you can't do anything else, you can go to the ARC. And then finally, after you've given your mic reports, you should listen. And if we decide to activate, we'll start calling for people to do stuff and giving instructions on the net or via SMS if you've let us know you're around. So I'm going to take a deep breath and stop there and see if there's any questions. Not hearing anything. So next Wednesday, the 18th, Larry is going to lead us through this and pretend that we just had an incident. I think he sent around, I was based on, I forget your address or your phone number, which mic scale you are, and, trying to get people to go through the system. I am going to, and I'm hoping Dave can hang out on Zoom. We'll have Zoom up and running in case anyone has any problems. You can either type in your question in chat, or we can, you can get on by voice and we can coach you through any problems you're having, either texting or getting ham radio to work or anything else. And I believe that's the last thing. So that's all I had prepped. This isn't a very hard or extensive process. Does anyone have any questions?
I've got one, and that is the phone number that you have for the SMS. Is that the one at the ARC, or is that going to be one of your own?
That's a virtual number. So we can talk people how to log into it. Basically, everyone in CERT IT has access to it now, but there's a limited number. CERT IT has gone pretty dormant, and I think Dave and I are and Steve Kellum are the last active members.
But that goes to the LAH CERT account, which we log into, and we can send and receive SMS messages from that account on our computers. And
Okay.
if you were to send an SMS to that right now, it would get to my phone.
Okay. Has that been exercised lately?
Yesterday, I tried it out to make sure it still worked.
That's comforting. Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing that we should bring up is Victoria bought a dozen Baofeng UV5Rs, and they're now programmed up as unlicensed radios. You can listen to the LAH repeater, but you can't transmit on it. And if people are interested in, well, and you should be interested in listening during this drill to the repeater, I've got 12 of those radios ready. And if there are any hams who don't have a radio, we have, I think it's 4 radios available. And they're, yeah, John.
Dave, I wanted to ask, related to what you were saying before regarding the virtual text number. Is it worth ahead of time creating, I guess I'd call it, I don't know exactly what it is, like a text message list of relevant people, whether it's all the people that come to these meetings on a regular basis, such that it's easy to send an outgoing message to a lot of people from that text?
Yeah, I've actually looked into that a couple of different ways, and I guess everybody's sending me texts now.
I'm not.
Eduardo sent me a text, although, oh, he sent it directly to me. Okay. So here, let me put the number, and if you have a yellow card from back in the olden days, it's actually on the yellow card. That was what I was checking.
But just to directly address John's question, I believe Dave uploaded the CERT roster as an address list and also has group set. So if you're a supervisor, you could send a text to all the supervisors or to all the CERTs, or also contact lists and therefore addressable.
I don't know that's ever been tested though, Neil. I'm a little.
I don't think we've tested as part of this, but I've tested it in a different Google account.
Okay.
And one of our ongoing worries is, this is currently tied to CERT IT, which is arguably not the right account to, have this. This needs to be broader and, accessible by more than just a few people if we're going to use it in an emergency. The other thing that we're working on, and to the best of my knowledge hasn't happened yet, and Victoria might know, is we're trying to get a phone to leave in the ARC that will be already logged into this. So even if you have no history on this, a laptop will be logged in as well as a phone. And it will be a band 14 phone, which is the AT&T FirstNet, so they get priority service even if the cell coverage is overloaded. So it's an emergency responder's phone, basically.
Let me follow up with Jay on that, because I know that we had sent her everything and they were going to, the last I heard, get that up and running. So let me find out if there's some kind of holdup that we don't know about.
Okay, and I put the CERT texting number in the chat, so everyone should open up the chat window, copy out the 650-549-5242 number, program it in your phone.
Thanks, Dave. I also sent out the link to sign in for today too, while we're doing PSAs on the chat. Would it behoove us to talk about the drill a little bit prior to like tonight a little bit? Larry, do you want to go over some of the specifics we can just kind of review? Is that a no,
Once
Larry?
I figure out where the button is to unmute, it only takes me about 10 minutes. It used to take me 20, so I'm ahead of the game. I guess the point that I would talk about is indeed the idea that we try to do next week's exercise as close to reality as we can. What I had proposed is, since we don't have a really earthquake to tell us how strong things are, that you use the last digit of your street address. And those who have a 0, just call it 1. And those beyond that, it's for the purposes of the earthquake, whatever the last digit is will be your Mike report. What will happen is that at the time, 7 o'clock this time next week, in fact, we should be acting as if this had been the real earthquake, that it would have been. And I would like to figure out if we could reach more than just the usual suspects, somehow to expand this to the more general CERT community. But the reality is we'll get, in a real environment, probably the people we usually work with, because the other people won't think of, hey, I need to tell CERT what happened. So with that in mind, the answer realistically is going to be to call in on your radio as ham radio operators. I'm going to suggest, and I'll let Dave and Neil tell me I'm good or bad with my suggestion, is that virtually all of us that do the same with an SMS message into the system, partly to see whether it would overload the system, because we've never used it that I'm aware of. And having 12, 14, 15 people sending SMS messages at the same time might be intriguing to see how well the system itself knows how to handle it. But the order of business is just as in the text. It basically is going to be the earthquake just occurred. You have already taken care of your family, so you don't have to go putting in any order, a lot of times in drills, we'll put in artificial times like NASA will do, where you stop and go do something. But in this case, as soon as you get your radios and start talking, and you may be all talking at once. My approach is usually to have people give me call signs, and then I'll go back and pick each one of them. That way I don't have to sort out 10 calls at once. But that's my own preference. You'll all get answered, let me say it that way. And then we're going to, as Neil pointed out, actually go back and ask you what your experience is, what experience levels you have in various skill sets that we're going to need. And so essentially, that's my overview of how next week will work. I welcome any suggestions, questions, etc.
I guess, Larry, what you talked about NASA, is that when they have that T-2 minutes and holding?
Yeah, for 6 hours. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Any other questions or comments at this point? Anything?
Yeah, just a comment that both Neil and I remember a tabletop where we really tried the SMS. And what we discovered, I think, then was that if you try to actually type it out on a phone and you're not a teenager, it's way too hard to keep up. But one of the things that we have here is we've actually linked it in so that we've got web interface. And as long as I got a real keyboard to type on, I'm pretty fast. We can probably keep up with the SMS. I'm more
Yeah.
concerned that I'll get some numbers and we won't have any idea who it is, or there'll just be so many of them, keeping them straight will be difficult.
Yeah, I think what I would really push in the request for SMS is going to be actually asking that the first thing they give us is their first and last name, so that we have a reference point for who it is. If they have a zone address, that's fine. If they don't, would a street address be useful?
Useful for what?
Yeah, I don't know for what
Well,
yet.
what I'm getting at is, suppose we're getting reports now. Our people all presently know their zones, but I'm going to bet there's some less active CERT members who don't remember what zone they're in, but might want to say, I'm on Elise Court or something of that sort. Or is that more complication than the point being that you get a report of a Mike value, but no way of finding out which part of town they're in.
I'm going to argue, if I was rolling up reports, north, south, east, and west is really
Okay.
the granularity that I would want.
All right,
And
that's
many
good.
people won't know that. I agree. But just having anything at all, we have too much granularity in too many zones right now, I think, rather than not enough. And I'm sharing what the Google Voice interface looks like for the text line, just so people can see it.
Okay.
And I'll stop sharing in a minute. I just thought I would show it to people. Sorry, go ahead, Larry.
No, that's fine. I like your suggestion, and north-south type of information may indeed be sufficient. What we care more for, I think, is the Mike report in a crisis environment, because it isn't very important to know somebody's in zone 22 if they only have a Mike 3 report to make anyway. So I'm game to play it that way. Other than that, as far as actual use on the in the event, it's going to be quite straightforward. It's going to be me simply saying I'm net control. I'm requesting Mike reports, and then go down the list. We will simulate the report of this to the town and to the county, and then proceed to the actual assessment of skill levels, and then, or experience levels, if you like. And at that point, I would say we would, I'll raise a question, Neil. Would it make sense for us to, at that point, simply all get on your Zoom and review what we found?
Works for me. I actually think, assuming your computer is anywhere near where you could use your radio, you could be on Zoom the whole time.
Well, I could do it on my cell phone, especially because you're taking the text messages. But yeah, I can be on the Zoom as using my cell phone. Besides, my tabletop is my system, my desktop. I don't have a laptop at the present time, and it's in a different room than my radio. So cell phone sounds like it would be the answer for me. But I think it's something for the rest of you to consider, is that as you finish the actual radio part of it, connect or be already connected to Zoom, so that we can have what I grew up with as a hot wash after the event, and actually walk through what parts of it were easy, what parts you wish you were different. I'm particularly hoping we can reach out to some people who are not hams, who are even not part of our little group of people who have been actively preparing for this, because it's those group of people that I won't say concerned about, other than because they'll have no idea of what we're trying to do. They won't have read the instructions that Neil so carefully wrote, because they didn't know they needed it or hadn't thought about it. And so I expect that we'll have to and, you know, hold the hands of people, which is, of course, what we should be doing anyway. Any comments are welcome. Suggestions are welcome. Talk about silence. Of course, that's part of this process. You realize that, hey, you said things and you can see that they're still not asleep. So there's at least half of you aren't. I can't tell about the rest of you.
Hey, excuse me, where is the SMS contact, Neil?
Check the individual section.
Individual section, okay.
Okay, Victoria, does that answer your questions or did you have others?
No, that was perfect.
Okay.
And then those of you who are on, Neil, are you still willing to help at one on the ARC on Saturday to hand out radios and just talk quickly about how to turn the darn things on and things like that?
Happy to do it. As of now, we have no one signed up. So we need people signed up before we're going to do it.
Okay, I just sent an email to the people that asked for radios. And I CC'd you and Dave and told them that we had the schedule, and we'll see if they pipe up at all. I would like to get a little tutorial if I could. You don't have to come to the ARC for that. Maybe I can meet you somewhere and you can just quickly run me through it. I don't know. If no one else shows up, I would love to know how to deal with them for just so I can listen in at the drill.
Okay. I'm going to guess if you're doing the drill from home, you're South County, right?
No, I'm in Campbell.
Yeah, you can
Am I
check,
local
but I
here?
don't think our repeater is Campbell.
Okay, so maybe I'll have to move closer then. If I go sit in that parking lot, will that work? Like at the station? Should, right? By the ARC?
Yes,
Okay.
especially if you go to parking lot 6, the one at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. That's good to know. All right, well, I guess we'll have to play that by ear as to whether we're gonna get there or not. Okay. Awesome. Anyone else have anything to add?
Has anybody gotten a text from the Los Altos Hills CERT in the last couple minutes? I'm actually testing this, and Victoria's not in our list because she's kind of new.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering where mine was.
Yeah, well, I'm adding you to the contacts
Thanks.
in that
Did you
account.
receive my response, by the way?
Haven't been looking. Did you see
Okay.
it, Neil?
I didn't see it, Linda.
I saw the message and I replied to it on the text.
Yeah, I see
I'm
Sam,
sorry.
Larry, Linda, and John reply.
I haven't received it.
Yeah, I only think I can send, or I only tried to send 4 at a time.
So you can give the name of the group if it's in contacts.
Yeah, I was trying individual names. Okay, so I got from John, I got from Linda, I got from Larry, and I got it from Sam. But I typed in Victoria and her name didn't have a number associated with it.
Okay.
So I'm
We
adding it.
We can refresh it also from the current roster.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for this meeting?
Neil, did my message come through okay for you?
Yes.
Good, thank you.
All
Okay.
right, anyone else?
A quick question. When's the last time the full roster had verified cell phone numbers? Do we
I
know
think it
that
was
we
like
could-
4 months ago. We
Okay,
sent a text to everyone and we sent an email to everyone and we said, let us know if you didn't get the text.
okay.
Now, if you're ignoring emails, no good way to check that, but
No, it's other than maybe a telephone call, but that's too.
Hey,
I'm
that's
not
the way
about
it
to
is.
volunteer for that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
This is John. I had a question for Neil.
Go ahead.
So it's semi-related to tonight, but I've been wondering for a while, you have programmed a lot of our radios with, I assume, a default programming, including mine, probably about 2 years ago. And I've often wondered, or I think it would be helpful if you perhaps walked through and said, why do you have the channels you do in the list? How are they useful to us? And what would we do with the channels that you gave us beyond the obvious ones like the LAH repeater? And it's possible you tell me, well, just go look up, in a repeater directory and figure out what each one is. But I'm wondering if a short overview of what you've given us would be helpful.
So that is the ECC list that I mostly didn't make, mostly took from a combination of the county. Here, let me type the address. So the County Aries Races website that I just typed in, and I'll try to get the URL for the ECC, it's called the Quick Reference Guide.
Quick reference guide.
So basically the first 20-ish channels are local Los Altos Hills channels. Things that we would expect you actually to need to use. Everything above 20 is county and otherwise maybe slightly interesting channels, but honestly a lot of, so it's all the other towns channels, but then it's extra things like the uplink from the KCBS helicopter and other types of things like that, maybe interesting, maybe not. It's a huge judgment call of what should be in and what shouldn't be in. We basically cut it off at 100, and everything above 100 is, there for you to use anything you want to. That was the kind of logic. Just the frequency list doesn't make much sense, but if you go to the document, which has all the details in it, I'll see if I can get the list. That
Which
document
chapter?
has like strings that identify what each frequency is, and with that you can kind of figure out what it's all about.
Okay. Even that's really helpful, just understanding the heritage of it and so forth. Have you found that the list has been pretty stable and static over the years?
Very, very static.
Very static.
Can you get that list tell us how to get that list? Because I'd be very much interested. I have one of the first Baofeng radios, and I'd be fun to see how well the data on it compares to the newest versions of data.
Yeah, as I just programmed these, the only thing I did that was new is the Los Altos repeater that they're planning on using for the Festival of Lights, not a parade, is now at channel or memory 100. But otherwise, I didn't think I changed anything.
So I just pasted the link. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I would echo John's comments there. There's a lot of the descriptions that, I claimed to know a little bit about this, and I had no idea what was going on. Like there's a W6LAH or K6LAH, and then there's another one with a star, and they have two different, is it tones to open up the repeater? And the question is, what's with that second one?
Yep, and that's folklore that the repeater people in charge of the repeater don't really talk about, but we basically have two repeaters on the same frequency with two different tones. So if they need to switch to the backup, they can. But
okay.
They actually have to physically, I think they can do it remotely, but they have to do magic to like turn one off to turn the other one on.
Yeah. So to John's point, I think what we need is sort of a key on even, wouldn't have to be complete, but what are the 5 ones you really care about?
So basically, if you go to that, I put the link in the chat, and the comment field explains most of the extra stuff that's not really obvious. And again, 1 through 20 is what we're trying to save for anything we're going to do as the town. And then if you look forward, you can see, local cities local to the county cities, but not us, have all the other ones. And I think we haven't updated this to add the new Los Altos repeaters. They have 2 or 3 new repeaters that we need to add to their list, for example. And with, like Baofeng's, where I think you get 7 characters, there's really a limited amount of description you can put in, which is why
Yeah.
we put star.
Yeah, I had problems with the FRS channels because they say something like FRS space CH space and then the channel number. So all we got was FRS or space CH till I had to go in and edit those by hand.
Excuse me.
Bless you, Eduardo.
All right, any more questions?
No, thank you.
Okay, did anyone not get a text from me who's on the participants list?
I didn't get a text.
Eduardo.
No, didn't get a text.
All right.
And I don't think I got one either.
I didn't either.
I
just
got one
said
from
that,
Drew
Steve.
Anderson.
Steve, you replied to me.
I was going to say, I thought
Somebody
Victoria.
replied on that number. Okay.
Maybe
For
I did.
some
Okay.
reason, I didn't get
It
it.
is Victoria, which confused me.
Yeah, sorry.
That's listed as your text number, I guess.
Oh,
this-
because I was at the top.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, I see what you're
oh,
saying.
from, I got it. I got it. I got
Okay.
it.
Well, that's good. We've checked out some text numbers, and everyone
Got
now
it.
has a reply number available.
Awesome. Sounds like we're ready to go.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you are someone who needs a radio, I have sent an email to remind you of our, distribution and some light training on Saturday. Neil and Dave will kind of keep you guys updated. You were CC on the email anyways. So
Yeah. And if you want to jump the gun and get the radio, you can come to my house and I'd be happy to put it out for you.
cool. All right.
Get ready for Saturday.
Okay.
Read the instruction manual.
How many hours is that going to take?
It's about this big and 6 pages. It won't take long.
Oh, good. Okay. I could probably handle that.
Yeah.
Okay. Last chance for questions.
Nope.
All right. Let's all rest up for our big extravaganza next week.
Okay.
So
All right.
next week,
Thank you.
next
Yeah.
week we have the ham radios, right?
Yep.
Next week is going to be our, it's the,
Okay.
ham radio, ECC collaboration, and then
Okay.
the recon team.
Okay, good.
What's
Thank you.
happening Saturday?
Saturday is going to be distribution of the people who needed a radio
Oh, okay.
that we ordered. Yeah. So I think they're all non-hams, right, Neil?
As far as I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're all non-hams. So, all right. Thank you, everybody.
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Victoria,
All right.
Saturday is
Good
gonna be in the Arc.
Sam, do you want to come to the ARC for your radio?
Sure.
And we'll get your
Alright.
name tag at the same time. So we've got one Neil. And me too. I'll be there.
Okay, I'll take one. I don't know if I want to coordinate with Dave and just run over to his house.
Okay, just let us know so that way I don't waste Neil's time too much.
Sure.
All right, cool. All
All right,
right.
thank you.
Thank
It's
you,
10
guys.
o'clock.
Good night.
1
Thank
10
o'clock.
a.m. Saturday,
No, 1.
1 p.m.
Yes, 1 p.m.
Saturday.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'll confirm with
Take
you.
care.
I emailed you too. All right, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.